In most cases, it's some sort of passenger car, so it drives and feels like a passenger car, very comfortable, but it's still got a little bit of utility. It's got a little more ground clearance. It's got some of the amenities that you would have in a regular passenger car or station wagon, and it's in this thing that looks like an SUV.
The Acura MDX is a prime example of what Mark referred to. As plush and pampering as some of the world's most luxurious touring sedans, the MDX is still an all-wheel drive sport ute that doesn't shy away from challenging terrain. Hyundai's new 2001 Santa Fe is yet another entry in the quickly emerging bite-sized sport ute sweepstakes, aimed at marketplace rivals such as the Toyota RAV4 and the Suzuki Sidekick. Saturn will be entering the SUV war zone for the first time in 2002 with its all-new View, which should go on sale next fall. And this is the Pontiac Vibe, another mini sport ute that will be a GM-Toyota collaboration and will seek out the under 30-year-old buyer who's interested in four-wheel drive versatility and an active lifestyle sensibly sized package. Finally, the #1 sales kingpin on the sport utility tally sheet, the Ford Explorer, and its corporate roommate, the Mercury Mountaineer, have undergone some tasty sheet metal revisions for 2001 without abandoning their brand identity.
If you want to buy a sport utility vehicle, everything out there is there for you. You've got the BMW X5, which is like a BMW M5 and drives like one, and it's this incredible road machine. And then you've got all the way to the other extreme where you've got these truck-based things that are just crashing and banging and twisting and squeaking. So you've got everything. Everything in the sport utility vehicle segment is now just slotted into its own little microcosm.
Sports coupes occupy a very hot spot in the automotive neighborhood as the new model year gathers speed. We'll see some of the headliners rolling into our future when we come back to the greater Los Angeles auto
tech car than the one before it, and BMW's M3 is a perfect example. Here's a group of guys that managed to wring out 333 horsepower out of a normally aspirated inline six-cylinder, and they can crank it to 8,000 RPM. But you know, it's not alone in the marketplace. It has plenty of competition, some of it here at the LA Auto Show.
It's true, the BMW M3 has enjoyed monumental popularity all over the world as one of the all-time great sports coupes ever built. The latest edition, with those 333 horsepower and plenty of trick technology in the suspension and drivetrain, solves a sticky dilemma that BMW created for American buyers in the past.
A few years ago, if you wanted an M3 and you didn't live in Europe, you had to settle for the U.S. version with 240 horsepower. Now, it was a quick car, but it was nothing like the full-strength version that they sold in Europe. Now, BMW doesn't make that distinction anymore. So if you buy the car here, you get a 300 horsepower rocket, and it's just the sort of thing that BMW has always done. You know, they gauge the competition, and they make their car a little quicker, a little better, a little more nimble, and, I mean, that's why they're the ultimate driving machine.
Volvo's PCC concept enjoyed its North American debut at the LA Auto Show, a concept that covers both Volvo's reputation for enormously safe automobiles and its desire to make a stronger performance statement in its future offerings.
It has started this concept parallel with the development of the S60. And S60 is a true sports sedan. It's really solid and handles really well. So we wanted, parallel to that development, see what further developed performance version could look like and what technology we had to develop them.
Mercedes chose the LA show to take the reps from its C230 or C Coupe. Available here in the U.S. in the fall of 2001. The C Coupe is powered by a 190 horsepower supercharged and intercooled 2.3-liter engine and will be the lowest priced Mercedes for sale in America, stickering at well under $30,000. The 2002 Acura TL series will now benefit from a more powerful drivetrain, thanks to a 260 horsepower V6 hitched to a 5-speed auto stick, sport-tuned suspension, and 17-inch wheels. And fans of retro Detroit muscle cars will get misty-eyed over this ready-for-production Mustang Bullitt. It gets its name from the character played by the late Steve McQueen, Lieutenant Frank Bullitt, in the motion picture Bullitt. The 4.6-liter V8 makes 270 horsepower, and the paint, wheels, and tires were specially chosen to resemble the look of the 1968 Mustang that McQueen drove in the movie. All of this frenetic activity in the sports coupe segment really takes us back to the beginning of our story, the influence that the BMW M3 has had in energizing consumer demand for coupes that can get it done.
David E. Davis, probably the dean of auto writers in our business, who wrote for Road and Track, Car and Driver, and founded Automobile. So he saw a long perspective of cars, and he likes to say the good old days are now. And maybe one of the best examples are these affordable, wonderful, quick sport coupes, epitomized, I think, by the top of the line, which is the BMW M3. But lots of other people are trying. You get someone like Lexus with its new IS 300. You have Acura with a sport version of its TL. Dodge has an RT. There are a lot of people who want to get in this game, and maybe they're not high-end like the BMW, but they are providing quick 2+2 transportation, cars that are stylish, that are head turners, that handle really well, and that won't break the bank.
From the nimble and light-footed to the brawny and broad-shouldered, the spotlight shifts to what's on the table in the world of trucks when we return to the LA Convention Center and the 2001 Greater Los Angeles Auto Show.
This big, yet is small enough to fit almost anywhere. The extraordinary Wave Radio from Bose. Press the remote control and hear big, rich sound that fills the room. Sounds so rich, Popular Science called it a sonic marvel. You hear music the way it was meant to be heard. Clear, full, incredibly lifelike. You've got to hear the Wave Radio to believe it, and now you can, satisfaction guaranteed. Call toll-free to hear it in your home. Ask about our popular interest-free payment plan. Experience big stereo sound.
There are a lot of new trucks being unveiled here at the LA Auto Show. This is Chevy's HD series. It's a good example of how trucks are evolving. It's a work truck, but it has 4 doors and all the creature comforts, leather, even cup holders in the back seat. Let's take a look at what's new in trucks.
Trucks continue to command star billing with the world's manufacturers, with sales that continue to set new milestones. The new heavy-duty series of trucks from GM, both Chevy and GMC, roll into 2001 with the industry's most powerful lineup of 3/4 and 1-ton pickups. The Duramax 6600 diesel muscles out 300 horsepower and 520 pound-feet of torque, while the HD's top gasoline engine, the Vortec 8100, churns out 340 horsepower and 455 pound-feet of torque. The long-awaited GMC C3 combines bone-crushing power with redesigned sheet metal to become one of the more talked-about trucks at the show. It's an all-wheel drive, high-performance, full-size truck that could wear the King of the Hill nickname with little argument.
Full-size pickups and compact pickups have now evolved into a whole number of derivations. The big news for 2001 is the year of the 4-door pickup. It's kind of the junior SUV. It gives you that versatility of 4 doors and 5 passengers, but the pickup bed is there for your versatility, for your needs for work or play, and it kind of gives you that price point that's below SUVs and the look and feel of a truck that a lot of people like and enjoy riding.
The 2001 Toyota Tacoma 4-door double cab stakes out that netherworld between pickup and sport utility with a roomy, well-appointed interior and a 1,674-pound load capacity. This rig really redefines the term versatility and can be optioned out with plenty of off-road goodies. Designed in nearby La Jolla, California at Nissan Design International, the 2001 Frontier comes to the table with an optional 210 horsepower supercharged 3.3-liter V6 and fresh exterior styling in regular cab, king cab, or 4-door crew cab version.
It should be no surprise to anybody that follows the industry that the truck side of the market is doing exactly the same thing that happened on the passenger car side of the market for the last decade. It's splintering. People want products that reflect their individual needs. And now you are seeing everything from traditional trucks to crossovers, which are combining the best attributes of trucks and trucks, in this case, sport utility vehicles and pickup trucks.
Lincoln's unique 2002 Blackwood actually made its debut at the 1999 LA Auto Show as a concept. But public reaction was so enthusiastic, the Blackwood has since been moved into production and will be showing up at dealerships in the first half of 2001. Lavish luxury and high levels of utility, the Blackwood blurs the line between luxury sedan, SUV, and pickup truck. And now Cadillac has taken up the challenge of the Blackwood with its own version of a Luxo SUV pickup. The 2002 Cadillac Escalade EXT luxury truck. It gets its power from a 6-liter, 345 horsepower V8, and the expandable pickup bed can extend to an 81-inch length. As you can well imagine, alternative fuel vehicles are of genuine interest in California, a state that has taken the lead on the creation of low and zero emissions technology. Ford unveiled their new Escape HEV sport utility, due to go on sale in 2003. It's powered by a hybrid drive system comprised of an electric motor tied into a bank of nickel metal hydride batteries that are linked to a 4-cylinder gasoline engine. Honda's Insight, the first gasoline-electric hybrid automobile sold in America, has scored the world's best gas mileage rating at a phenomenal 68 miles per gallon. The 2001 model will be available with Honda's continuously variable transmission and may exceed last year's total American sales figure of 6,500. Still ahead, we'll reminisce with Jaguar and recall their timeless legacy of great roadsters.
For instance, this is the 40th anniversary of the E-Type, and Jaguar is using that opportunity to highlight their F-Type concept vehicle. And we're told that this vehicle will be produced probably the year 2004.
Well, right now, let's take a look backward at these historic cars.
I missed the bus.
Really?
The 911 Carrera, what only a Porsche brings to driving.
Thanks, Dad. Dad.
You've been deployed to help us.
Gas prices, fuel economy is more important than ever, but fuel efficiency doesn't have to be boring. Here at the show, manufacturers are unveiling even sportier compacts.
The 2002 Mazda Protege celebrated its North American coming out party at the LA Auto Show. And with a stiffer platform, upgrades to steering, suspension, and powertrains, the new Protege turned more than a few heads. The Protege represents the kind of trench warfare the manufacturers are waging to win this market segment.
You're seeing a lot of things happening in the heart of the market, which really runs from your compacts all the way up to the family sedans, like your Ford Taurus or your Toyota Camry. A lot of the key players have been out there with fairly well-established products. You're seeing some critical new entries. Mazda, on the low end, is really trying to reestablish a presence. They've been a sort of a fly on the wall for a number of years with new Protege, aiming for some really, if you will, motivated or hip young buyers. Vehicles like the MP3 that are going into a very, very hip, trend-setting segment of the market. But what's critical to understand about this heart of the passenger car side of the market is you are having a battle royale. This is where some of the biggest decline has occurred over the last decade and where some of the biggest battles are going to occur if, in fact, the market shrinks as it's expected to over the next 12 months. You're going to see a ton of incentives and rebates and all sorts of cashback offers for consumers to try to win over their hearts, minds, and pocketbooks. And it's going to be a very interesting time, and a very good time, in fact, for consumers, much more so than manufacturers.
Daewoo's 2002 Laganza will be in the midst of this family car feud with new styling and a new engine, a transverse 2.5-liter, 180-horsepower 6-cylinder engine. A perennial all-star, the Honda Civic has been made over for 2001, but it's expected to hold its ground at the top of this fiercely competitive category. At around $17,000, it still offers a lot for a little. cars from Daimler Chrysler take different approaches to practical transportation that still leave some room for fun. The Dodge Stratus and the Chrysler Sebring convertible. The Sebring convertible goes into its second generation with an eye on regaining its class leadership.
Forces in the market there is some growth because the growth is in the Sun Belt, the so-called smile states, where, like here in LA, you can't beat the weather, and we do see some growth in that. For the Chrysler, the new Chrysler Sebring, for many years, the predecessor vehicle led the segment as the largest producer of convertibles. Our intent is to regain the leadership.
Next up at the Greater Los Angeles Auto Show, some of the most luxurious cars money can buy. Lots of money can buy. When we come back in just a moment.
Well, you can spend almost anything you want to anymore on a luxury car, from $35,000 all the way up to $300,000. But if you'd like to spend about $70,000, Lexus will put you in a very nice LS430 with the DVD navigation system on board in the front seat. But the really cool toys are all in the back. Check this out. They have rear seats that are adjustable, 5-way power seats no less, with adjustable headrest, memory, and a personal back massager for each of the rear passengers. In addition to that, you have a cool box that holds 6 cans of your favorite beverage for those long road trips. Now, if you ever get out of the car and forget to properly shut your door, don't worry, because Lexus will close it for you.
The Lexus LS430 is SpeedVision's luxury car dream pick, brought to you by Delphi. The previous Lexus luxury standard bearer, the LS400, had scant few weaknesses in its game. But Lexus has promised that the 2001 LS430 will be a tangibly better automobile than its predecessor. The 4.3-liter V8 makes 290 horsepower that mates to an electronically controlled 5-speed automatic transmission. Luxury is the LS430's primary role in life, and it offers it in abundance. Everything from temperature and sun-sensing climate control to dynamic laser cruise control to a DVD ROM-based navigation system that are all available. Cars like the LS430 are convincing arguments that the fluctuations of the economy don't necessarily diminish the desire for ultra-luxurious automobiles.
The luxury market has been bucking the trend, at least of recent months, where we're starting to see a decline in the U.S. new car market. It was very strong all of last year and continued to be strong even in recent months, and it's likely to continue to do so in the coming year. The question is what parts of the market, the luxury market, might be hurt if the economy softens. We're probably going to see a lot of strength at the top end, the real high end, where people have wealth. They're not as hurt by downturns in the market. But there is going to be a battle. There is a ton of new product coming in all segments of the luxury car market, and it's going to give people far more choice than they've ever had, whether they're looking for high-end trucks or high-end cars or entry-level vehicles.
Then there are the luxury automobiles whose entry levels are, shall we say, somewhat elevated, such as the megalithic Bentley Continental R420. A $328,000 guarantee that England will endure. With its 6.75-liter turbocharged V8 that pounds out 420 horsepower and around 600 pound-feet of torque, the Bentley Continental R420 can move its considerable mass from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6 seconds flat. The impeccable fit and finish, both inside and out, of the Bentley Continental R420 is beyond flawless. Just exactly what one might expect from a car that costs over $350,000. Another ultra-high-end entry from the mother empire, the Aston Martin, has successfully maintained its own distinct identity despite its corporate bloodline, which extends from Ford to Jaguar. The silver Aston Coupe and the soft metallic green convertible made a striking visual statement with no unnecessary gimmickry involved. Perhaps a more attainable luxury choice for the majority of upmarket buyers is the Acura RL. Newly outfitted for 2002, the Acura flagship has gotten a power boost from 210 to 225 horsepower and added torque as well. The RL has a raft of high-tech enhancements, such as Acura's Vehicle Stability Assist System, OnStar satellite-linked navigation system, and a premium sound system designed specifically for Acura by Bose Acoustics. Add wider tires, improved insulation, stiffened suspension, including a thicker stabilizer bar, and it is by far the most luxurious and sophisticated Acura ever built. When we come back to the Greater Los Angeles Auto Show, a look at some of the newest ideas in minivans and station wagons, right here on SpeedVision.
Welcome back to the LA Auto Show. In the area of people haulers, minivans are still hot. We've got Chrysler's new lineup to show you. As for station wagons, we are seeing more diversity, like Audi's all-road Quattro. Works just great on the highway, but you can notch up the suspension 4 positions and go off-road.
A reoccurring theme at this year's LA Auto Show was the move by a number of manufacturers to de-truck their sport utilities without sacrificing their go-anywhere capabilities. The Audi All-Road was yet another example of this SUV evolutionary shift.
The All-Road represents a no-compromise vehicle. This takes into account all of the, you'd say, advantages of an SUV, being ground clearance, a higher set vehicle, but yet, and a rugged appearance, which is what people are looking for, but yet it also has the driving characteristics of our sedans. No compromise. This vehicle can raise itself to go over high terrain, providing great ground clearance, and when you need to on the freeway at high speeds or on the Autobahn, in Germany's case, you can physically lower the vehicle over 2.5 inches to provide better driving characteristics. And that's what people are missing in today's SUVs and what we're trying to fill with the All-Road.
The Volvo XC emphasizes another dynamic that seems to be getting a foothold in the people mover market segment.
Station wagons are taking over where minivans and sport utilities were for the last 10 years. You're going to see a lot more station wagons, I think, filling that role.
The Volvo XC will definitely appeal to an audience in search of a viable alternative to bigger, less agile sport utilities and the uninspired shapes of most minivans. Extra ground clearance and all-wheel drive help distinguish the XC from the other popular Volvo wagons that have flourished for 4 decades. 3 other wagons from 3 different manufacturers were taken out from under wraps at the LA Auto Show. The Volkswagen Jetta wagon made its world debut in LA and is the result of Volkswagen's pleasure with the response its upmarket Passat wagon has received. The lower-priced Jetta will reflect much of the inherent goodness from the Jetta sedans that came before. The Mazda Protege 5 wagon comes to showrooms in the spring, but Mazda would prefer you call it a 5-door instead of a wagon, or even a hatchback. In truth, it is a wagon, but a very sporty one at that. It wears much of the aerodynamic body pieces we saw on the MP3 concept earlier. We expect it will get the 150 horsepower 2-liter engine from the MP3 too, which will make it a genuine kick to drive. Kia's Rio wagon was also premiered for the first time here in LA. And Kia is banking on the success of its Sportage Mini SUV to help drive sales of its new wagon. And Kia makes no pretensions about how the Rio will compete with more established nameplates for consumer dollars. The Rio will most likely be the lowest priced wagon on the U.S. market. Chrysler's new generation minivans are still the yardstick against which any other vehicle in this category has to be measured. The company that invented the minivan in 1983 has refined and redefined the minivan concept steadily in the past 17 years. And the 2001 Dodge Grand Caravan continues to set the bar. It's a little mystery why Daimler Chrysler sells over 600,000 minivans worldwide each year and holds down an amazing 42% of the domestic minivan market. Pretty impressive. And so are the super high-performance sports machines that are coming your way in just a moment when we return to the 2001 Greater Los Angeles Auto Show.
Vision GT and Touring Car Championships broadcast right from the driver's seat with some of the greatest road racers of all time, like Derek Bell. He'll take you through every apex and pass, every checkered flag. Returning March 23rd at 8 Eastern, only on SpeedVision. When he screams,
When most of us think of sports cars, we think of Honda's new S2000 or maybe the Porsche High Performance 911. But every now and then it's fun just to dream a little bit. Well, the big hit of the LA Auto Show is this car, the Porsche Carrera GT concept car. It has a 558 horsepower V10 engine and a carbon fiber chassis. Now, despite the extreme performance potential of this car, Porsche engineers insist that if it sees production, it will be very drivable and very user-friendly.
It stretches the rational mind to unheard of levels to describe a car with the Porsche Carrera GT's performance envelope as user-friendly. But Porsche has a long history of creating racetrack-capable automobiles that only perform civilian driving duties. In fact, the styling of the Carrera GT is meant to rekindle images of the legendary 718 RS Spider of the 1960s.
I think the winning heritage of Porsche and its racing wins translates directly into a design such as this Carrera GT in all aspects of this vehicle. This is very, very much a performance vehicle. It's at 558 horsepower, and all the handling capabilities you would expect of a Porsche is within this car. And I think it's all transpired through this design study. The racing heritage, the performance expectations of our customers is all wrapped in this package here.
If Porsche does indeed move ahead with production of the Carrera GT, it would most likely begin building it in late 2002 and come to market as a 2003 model. Only 500 Carrera GTs would be constructed, and believe it or not, although not officially slated to be produced, U.S. dealers have already taken 30 orders for the $350,000 supercar. Of course, the subject of supercars can't really be considered complete without mention of Ferrari's latest GT sensation, the 360 Modena, in both coupe and Spider configurations. The 400 horsepower V8 power plant will propel the 360 to speeds of over 180 miles per hour, but plan to spend upwards of $250,000 to see for yourself. The Panoz Esperante is a high-performance sports car built in Georgia by the Panoz family. And although a relatively unfamiliar sports car mark, the Panoz brings enough of the right stuff to the party to enable it to run with the pack.
And then, of course, you have a lot of so-called niche or niche players in the market. Panoz, for example, based in Georgia, basically the Atlanta, Georgia area. They have a car called the Esperante and other cars in the works. They are purpose-built sports cars with a guarantee and everything, Ford drivetrain, so you have a warranty and all that. They are kind of on the fringes, but still give you a car that's not like every other sports car on the track, with very, very good performance characteristics.
Honda's runaway sports car success, the S2000, enters the new year with a coupe version. As is the new Corvette Z06, which is a no-nonsense 385 horsepower street fighter that may be the most race-compatible Corvette ever offered in a Chevy showroom. The Z06 is the quickest Corvette ever built, even quicker than the legendary L88 Corvettes of the 1960s and the ZR1 King of the Hill Corvettes from the 1990s. Around $47,000, the Z06 is as good as it gets in the horsepower per dollar sports car tournament.
Well, you've seen it, the Greater LA Auto Show. And there's no question that Southern California is exerting more force when it comes to design, and my feet are tired.
Well, it's a big show. It's getting bigger every year. We walked the entire floor, but I had a ball, and I hope you did too. I'm Stephen Cox, along with Sandy Hang, and thank you for joining us.
For more automotive information, log on to SpeedVision.com.